All right, we are here at Gridlife MidWest Festival at Gingerman Raceway. We've got, for the first time, both cars with race car liveries on them.
The livery looks great.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I couldn't let you keep outdoing me with the
race car
livery.
you? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I think you're gonna have me on lap times. I think that's pretty clear.
I hope so.
Yeah.
But we're not in the same class. We don't have to worry about each other.
I'm worried about that, yep.
I'm worried about some very fast Subarus, very fast Evos.
Let's get 2 first place trophies, how about that?
Oh man, I would love that.
I'm aiming for first place, but we've got really heavy competition in Club TR. It's the same guys as last year, but they have really progressed with their cars. So they've got a lot more mods and stuff now.
Some of the guys in Club TR might be faster than me. Some of those guys are absolutely flying.
Well, I hope that's me.
I wasn't referring to you, but maybe.
Yeah, no, it could go any of like 5 different directions this weekend.
First session is in 10 minutes, so Ben and I, we got a lot of nerves. So nervous about the car. So many things that we've changed.
I haven't driven on track in a long time, so I'm nervous just to get out there and warm up. I've got old tires on the car to start off with.
You'll be fine.
They're like 2 years old tires. I'm just gonna get out there, kind of warm up a little bit, and we'll go from there.
Our drain pump recirculation oil system, there's no, I mean, there is oil everywhere, but it's for a different reason and we fixed that. But like, I didn't think this was actually gonna work. Holy cow, I think that I'm actually gonna be able to turn laps this weekend. And this car just went out and did a 138 easy, a 2nd and 3/10 PB on the warm-up lap, on the shakedown lap, braking early and everything. I'm so psyched. I'm probably like 9th in street class right now, even with a 138 flat, just because of how fast the class has gotten. But I'm not stressed at all because I know the car has so much more in it.
The car felt a little slow, which we kind of expected to be slow because I'm on 2-year-old tires, but it was a really good way to get reacclimated to the track. It feels very slick, again, probably because I'm on old tires. It feels like the track is super hot, even though I know it's not. But then I pulled into the pit after like the first lap because the interior cabin started smoking, which had me a little concerned. But we pulled into the pit. I think I just overfilled the trans a little bit, so it's nothing to really worry about. It only happens when I'm at really high speed, which makes sense because the trans is moving the fastest that it can. Car feels good. I'm getting used to the balance again. It is a very rear tail happy car, which is good because that's how you go fast, but it does take a while to get acclimated to it. So I did like a 41 or something like that, which I guess doesn't put me down in like a really low run group, so that's good. I can kind of just slowly reacclimate myself to the car and to the track and being at track. However, my competition has already gone very fast. I think they beat last year's record. There was a 39.0 by Dana in the K24 swap BRZ on the first session, so we know we're going 38s. Grant also, for the first time ever, broke sub 40s, which is a huge deal. So he's at a 39.6, I think, something like that.
We're sitting 2nd place right now behind Dana, just almost 2/10 behind him, so can't really complain. Everyone's going way faster this year, especially this event. I think the conditions are a little bit better, but the drivers, the cars are a lot more developed. Dana specifically has taken a lot of weight out of the car and has gone with a different transmission, so I think he's gotten that thing dialed in way better. I think I've got a lot of catching up to do in the driver area. The car should be way faster than it was last year, but hopefully as I knock the rust off, we'll go a little bit faster even yet, get down into the 38s. I've got a feeling that Ben is kind of sandbagging. I don't know if he's really rusty or if he's got something up his sleeve, but he's a little bit behind. I think he's still like 40.8, right around there, so like maybe 4th or 5th place.
It's gonna be somewhat hot for the rest of the day. I'm gonna stay on the old tires, keep getting used to it, keep getting reacclimated to it, and then tomorrow morning, I've got my little secret recipe of some brand new shaved down tires that we're gonna put on, and that should shave off at least a second, maybe 2.
great session. I PB'd again, 137.5. Typically, you know, this would be cause for celebration. However, I'm at the same event as Luca, who you may recall from NCM last year when I cut my wheel in half. He sold me his T37s. So competitor, friend, nemesis. He is on a 137 flat. Luca, how are you doing it?
Just trying to push the limits, man.
You heard it here first, folks. He's trying to push the limit.
It's a new build for me as well, since I was street mod last year, and full new turbo kit, new suspension, new everything, and certain corners are a little bit squirrely right now because I'm used to aerodynamics pushing down, and I definitely felt the difference. But overall, the car is so much more settled, and I think that's where the time was. I think setup is big here.
Setup is big here. That's all you need to know. Well, back to you at the studio.
So I'm getting a little impatient and changing out the tires now because I'm doing the exact same laps. These are the 2-year-old tires that I've been running on just to get reacclimated. I feel very comfortable, so I'm gonna throw the good tires on now. I worry about burning them up a little bit too fast because I've done that before, so I was trying to take it a little bit easy. But we're 2 sessions down now. I'm not going any faster, especially not on these old tires, so we're gonna throw on the fresh ones, see what that does.
Things are going great, and now they're going a little bit worse. The car's good. Now it's me. I just drove really, really poorly in that last session. I like kept going off, and then I just kept going because I was just desperate to get a lap. And yeah, I just wasn't stringing a lap together, and I really should have quit while I was ahead. I managed to cut one of my ABS sensors. I went off, and the car sits so low that the tire just killed the ABS sensor. And then I get back on track, I'm going again, I'm going fast, and they go into a braking zone, and I just lock completely, like no braking, because the tires are just completely locked because I turned off my ABS system. And I just went off and tore off the front lip because this car just hates front lips, and flat spotted that tire on the other side. We have somebody bringing tires tomorrow morning, and I'm searching for ABS sensor on Advanced Auto's app right now.
So on that session, now that I've got the fresh tires on the car, I wasn't really used to the grip. I'm like going out there on my warm-up, and I'm like, holy crap, this thing is hooking. So when I was on my warm-up lap, I was coming around the last corner here, and I hit the brakes, and I'm like, now I'm trying to carry some speed, and I trail brake into it a little bit, and the rear is just like too cold, and it just spins right out, which is a bad spot to spin out. Thankfully, the guy that was behind me did see me. He slowed down a little bit, got out of the way. By the time I had pulled out, I was right behind him, and big cloud of smoke coming off of the Ford Mustang. I think he blew his motor. Yeah, it was very interesting to be directly next to a car that had its motor blow up. There's a lot of smoke. Other than that, it was a pretty uneventful session. I just went slow, and I need to go faster. Day 2 here at Gridlife Midwest Festival, and I need to go faster, so that's what my plan is for the day. I'm braking too much in all of the corners, so I need to brake less and carry more speed. There's 3 corners, particularly looking at the data, that I know I can improve on. So that is the goal for now, and we'll go from there. I am also leaking a little bit of fluid. I think my trans axle seal might be leaking a little bit, and it's kind of dripping down the side of the car. My rear on this car is rotating like a ton, a lot more than I'm used to. I think the balance is a little bit off now because of my 10-inch front wheels, and then also maybe a combination of oil getting on my rear wheel, but the car is very, very tail happy, which makes for good footage, but it doesn't make for fast lap times. My competition is running away from me. Dana is down to a 39.0, which breaks the record in the class, so that's the time to beat. Grant Davidson in the Integra is at a 39.1, and there's, I think, 2 other guys in between there and me, so I'm sitting in 5th place, which is not where I like to be.
My name is Dana Baczynski. I drive a 2013 Subaru BRZ with a K24 swap. This year we switched to a Honda S2000 transmission, and gearing is so much better. Car has been 2 to 3 seconds or more faster at every track. First session, got my personal best time and currently good enough for first in class. I think Ben had a target on his back a little bit from winning last year, so everybody's trying to shoot for Ben. So being ahead of him right now feels pretty good, but we'll see how the weekend goes.
So I flat spotted a tire, and I was looking around for a 255 RT660. Wasn't able to find one in time, conveniently. Luckily, Piero, another Evo guy here at Gridlife, man, it seems like I'm always destroying my wheels or tires, and then other Evo guys have the parts that I need. He had some Advan AO52s that I'm going to run for the very first time. These are supposed to be a pretty quick tire. 200 tread wear also, and he's even letting me use his RPF ones, and I'll just buy him a set of tires after this event. So Piero, thank you very much. Your Evo looks very, very cool. Myself and Mark just hardwired the ABS sensor, and the ABS light is now out. ABS should be working. I'm gonna go test drive it, but new wheels, new tires, new ABS sensor. Gridlife's awesome. We're about to go out for second session of the day, fifth session of the weekend. Based on the time that I did last time, I can win. So my goal for this next session is to go to 36s, ideally lead the class, go to first place. I'm in fourth now.
We have the solution to our problem. We've got some axle seals. We found some at the parts store up the road. I'm gonna throw these in, and hopefully that stops my oil leaking.
Before the last session, I said I was gonna go out and set a record, and I did. One lap, we went out 136.3, and this is probably the best I've ever felt ever, I think. I think this is the peak of my existence. I was celebrating a lot in the car. We're gonna have to censor all of it. Feels so good to set a record. I've never done that. Feels so good to lead the class. I've never done that. The time's not safe because I'm sure my competitors are gonna be able to be right there, but to be leading even just for a little bit feels amazing.
Let's go, baby. Let's go, baby.
Things have gotten much better. They've taken a turn. It's nice to know that it wasn't necessarily all my driving's fault. We have the old tires on the car now, and with no more transmission oil leaking onto the tire, I went faster with older tires. Funny how that works. I went significantly, almost a full second faster on a bad session. The class leader's at a 39.5 in that session, and I did a 40.0 on old tires. We know the tires are probably worth about a second, which means I should be half a second ahead of the class leader once I put the good tires on. I'm gonna save those for tomorrow morning, which is the coolest session.
All right, last session of Friday, I'm gonna go out, 1 lap. I wanna set a new record. Joe is my competition right next to me. I wanna keep him behind.
I know I'm not gonna go fast, but I'm still gonna try to break 40s. If I do a 39.8, I'll be on the podium with old tires, so that'll feel pretty good. But I'm still experimenting and just testing for tomorrow.
I've heard about this a lot, but I've never actually firsthand experienced it. People talk about the track being slow or fast, right? Depending on temperature, whether it's rained recently, whether drift cars have been out on the track right before your session. And it never really mattered to me because I was always like, well, guess what? I'm not pushing the car hard enough that it actually is really going to affect what kind of time I set. I can go out in a crappy session and just drive better and still go faster. But now I've set a reasonably good lap for this car. So going out in a session immediately following a bunch of drifters who have put dirt all over the track and put marbles, rubber all over the track, had a big impact. I went a second slower, and everybody else did too. Joe was a second behind me, so really nothing has changed since that last session.
So I'm leaking oil again from the transmission, same spot. We changed the axle seal. It can't be the axle seal. It looks like maybe the axle is popping out like a little bit. Maybe the diff is just so strong or something, if the clunking maybe, but my axle is popping out. These axles are 3 seasons old, so you know what? I have no complaints, that's pretty impressive. I brought new axles with us, so we'll either swap an axle out or just swap out that clip that holds the axle in, because the clip looked pretty fatigued when we were in there before. And let's hope that seals it up, because tomorrow is the last day that we have to go fast. It is what it is.
He's fast. He's still got it, folks.
I promise I'm fast. It's just
she doesn't have it right now.
It's fatigued. It's tired.
Yeah. Even though they did a total refresh over the off season.
The axles are the original.
That's true.
3 seasons old. All right, well, it's pretty late, but we got the car done. Mark put in the new axle. He said it was really tough to get it in, which means it's probably not gonna come out. So I feel confident that tomorrow is gonna go well.
Went out for the morning session, potentially, you know, one of the nicest sessions of the weekend because nice cool track temperatures. Unfortunately, I got blocked like a lot. I had a lot of traffic and it really didn't need to happen. So I had 2 different separate laps get blocked by other people, which is a bad feeling. It's really frustrating. And I don't know if I can go any faster this weekend, but we'll still try. And it's not, I'm still in first, so that's good.
Well, that last session was not what we planned. I went out in our warm-up lap, we were going like 38 miles an hour, which is not nearly fast enough to warm up the tires. So by the time I actually got ready for the flyer, started going a little harder and the car spun out because the rear tires were too cold. So that wasn't fun. Came in, got all the grass out of the car and stuff. Went back out behind a black Subaru, and then he went off. And I'm like, okay, cool, little shuffle with the cars. We get going again. And then he went off again, like full on rally, 100 miles an hour in the grass. Comes back on right in front of me and I can't make it by. So we go by again, he lets me by, and I'm behind a Civic, and it was just a mess. Lots of traffic. We only have 2 sessions left to figure out how to make it work. We'll see what we can do. Unfortunately, the Civic will not go fast this weekend. Official diagnosis, the tires have oil seeped in them. Even the fresh tires that I brought, we got oil on both sets of tires, so the rear has no grip anywhere. And looking at the data, we can even see from the older tires to now, with all the extra oil coated on the rears, that oil is like caked in, and the car just slides through the higher speed corners. It doesn't hook up. Without rear grip, I can't hook through the high speed corners. And that's very important at this track. There's a lot of high speed sweepers, and if the car's sliding out in those sweepers, you're losing speed.
So we went out for that last session. Car drove fine. I just didn't really hook anything up that was better. Nobody else improved either. Just doing some diagnosing. We have a lot of time till the next session, so I'm not stressing too bad. There's only one more session for somebody to go faster than me, but realistically what I'd like to do is just go faster myself. So we'll see.
Next up in street, 36.388 takes the win, Ben Lynn.
So we won. Got first place and the track record for street class.
Speak for yourself, you won.
Oh, well.
I shot myself in the foot and didn't even get on the podium.
Oh, well,
but,
that's okay.
Yeah. But congrats.
You can't always be on the podium, Ben.
Yeah.
We needed to shake things up.
That's true. This is true. I think this is the first time I've not been on the Club TR podium.
Yeah, right.
I said back when we were building the Evo, after we finished getting it tuned this year, that I had the car to go really fast and win the class, and I just needed to do it. And
you've done it.
First step.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it feels great.
Yeah. A big step too. I mean, it's the record and the win.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Not only did I break the class record, I also broke fourth gear in my transmission again. So the Evo does not have a fourth gear. The transmission feels like garbage because there's a bunch of chunks of metal in there. This is a pretty familiar feeling. I broke this transmission 2 events ago.
Well, you knew this was coming.
Yeah, 6-speeds in Evos are really just not built for the abuse of high horsepower time attack. Yeah, they're built different from 5-speeds, and by that I mean they're built worse.
Well, Ben, you get yourself a transmission, and I'm gonna get myself a set of tires.
Next time we're at Gridlife, we're both gonna be P1.